everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you another special homemade hiker's meal. This time we're going keto.
Please click like and subscribe to join my hiking family.
My hiking buddy Ahab has, in the past several months, gone on the keto diet. And when we were planning our next section hike, he told me he wanted to stay keto as much as possible. So I had to change up everything I was looking at to provide him a homemade hiker's meal. So I came up with a new recipe with some new unique ingredients, still keeping that good flavor but bringing as much nutrition as possible to the table. So let's get into it and I'll show you what I do. The bulk of this meal was the one that created the biggest challenge for me. Because in the past, if you followed any of my previous recipe videos, usually it's some sort of a grain or a noodle. We did shredded potatoes once. All are very high carb, none are very keto friendly. The fonio is more friendly because it does carry some fiber with it, but nothing has really been keto friendly up to this date. So, the first thing I found was the one that really struck it for me. I didn't really look any further because it really intrigued me in what it could bring. I didn't know this product existed. So the bulk of this keto meal is freeze-dried cauliflower from Keto & Co. So with it keto in the name, you can be pretty sure this is going to be a good product. So, as always, we start with our cut-down food saver bag. And if you remember the first episode, I always cut off the top because I don't need to use the entire bag for this. And I make another pouch for trail mix or my homemade hiker's fuel bars or whatnot with that pouch. So that doesn't go to waste. So I cut this down. And then I turn on my handy-dandy kitchen scale, set my plate on it, zero it out, and I'm going to measure out 16 grams of my dried riced cauliflower. Now it doesn't look like much when you're done, but it does hydrate well, and it actually has quite a pleasant aroma that you can pick up right now. I kind of wish you could smell this. So there we go, 16 grams of dried riced cauliflower. And because it takes a little time, I did do a loop, so you didn't get the full-time investment in watching me measure out the 16 grams of the dried cauliflower. Next comes the heavy protein part of the meal. And for that, I go with Mountain House freeze-dried diced chicken. And if you remember my chicken with Thai peanut sauce recipe, this is the chicken I went with. And I've actually started using this in more of my recipes because I prefer the chicken over their ground beef even. And I liked their ground beef. But this one has a better mouthfeel. It never really tastes like it was freeze-dried. So I go with this. And that chicken with Thai peanut sauce recipe can actually be quite keto friendly as well if you replace the bulk of the meal of noodles with this dried riced cauliflower that we're using in this one. So that meal can be quite keto friendly, so you're not tasting the same thing every day when you're out on the trail. You can vary it up a little bit. And as per usual, we do 20 grams of the chicken. Now this is something you can easily add if you need more protein and fat, but 20 grams is what I usually go with, and my recipes have the water requirement set for that. And for this one, I use 3/4 of a cup for the entire meal, and it hydrates everything well with leaving just a little bit of sauce. More or less is okay, but you want to make sure you don't go with too much less. because you want everything to hydrate well. So it's more important to have everything properly hydrated than to not have any sauce. Next, I add an optional ingredient. This one just adds a little bit more texture, a little bit more flavor, and some more nutrition. This does bring up your net carbs though, so you can eliminate or reduce depending on your own personal needs. It's entirely up to you. I like the mouthfeel. I'm not really going all that keto because I know I'm going to burn off any carbs I eat when I'm out there hiking. But I'm going with the Frontier Co-op freeze-dried vegetables that you've seen in a few episodes before. And for this recipe, I use 2 tablespoons of the vegetables. And again, you can easily reduce this if you need to be more keto. You can add to it if you want more flavor or a little bit more nutrition. It's entirely up to you. These videos are just to give you a launching off point. If you studied into the keto diet at all or been on it for any length of time, you know that fat is highly necessary because that's what your body burns for its energy. Now the chicken has a fair amount of fat in it, but I wanted to supplement that fat by bringing something to the table that would bring fat as well as extra nutrition to that. And for that, I bring in Pahe avocado powder. And I also do 2 tablespoons of the powdered avocado. Now this, it brings extra nutrition to it, but I have noticed that it hasn't affected the flavor at all. Like I can't even really tell that there's avocado in this. And when you add the water, you'll want to give it a good stir to make sure that it doesn't clump, because if it clumps, it may want to stick to the bag. So you just want to make sure you give it enough of a stir to get it all incorporated. To bring a little bit more fat to the meal, as well as a great depth of flavor, because if you followed me for any length of time, you'll have realized that I'm quite a foodie. And you can still be a foodie on the trail. You can enjoy your meals, not just enjoy the fact that you're eating after a hard day. They can carry a lot of flavor with them. And for that, my next ingredient does both. It brings a good amount of fat as well as a lot of flavor. And for that, I bring in Hoosier Hill powdered butter. And we do 1 tablespoon of the butter. And this is the same butter that I used in the quote-unquote rice pudding episode. Next is another optional ingredient that I bring just for some extra seasoning. This I don't add much. You could leave it out entirely if you wanted to, especially if you have to be gluten-free, because this ingredient can carry some gluten with it. But it's the powdered soy sauce from Spice Jungle that I found when I was researching how to make the Thai peanut sauce. And finally, I just add 1/4 teaspoon of the powdered soy, because you don't want it to overpower. You just want to bring a little bit of extra flavor to the meal, and it brings a little bit of salt, so that's a good thing. Now, back to the handy dandy food saver as usual. And I use this all the time, not just for hiking, but if you bought it just for preparing hiking meals, you can see just how much worth it has. So, again, vacuum seal button, and in no time it sucks all the air out. And the red light here indicates that it's doing the heat seal. And as soon as that goes off, we flip it to open. And as usual, I set it on this heat strip up here to add a second seal, just to make sure that no air gets into here, so it stays compact and doesn't take up any more room in the pack than it needs to. And we're done. And you can see that it takes up next to no space. When you fold this over, it takes up next to no space in your pack, and that's one heck of a good meal. So the nutrition this thing carries will at least give you a good jumping off point for planning your own keto meals, so you don't have to just survive on jerky when you're out there hiking. You can eat well and still eat keto on the trail. So there you have it. Another homemade hiker's meal, more on the keto-friendly side. This one only has about 12 to 15 net carbs. So you're still right in there, and you're going to burn those carbs really quickly if you're doing a lot of hiking, especially on a challenging trail like the Appalachian Trail. So you can adjust it accordingly and go from there. But this is a jumping off point to get you introduced to the ingredients to create your own keto meals. And you can adjust the ingredients accordingly to reach the net carbs that you're after. Have you tried any of my homemade hiker's meal recipes? Have you modified them at all? Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought and what you did to change them and what the outcome was. If you have any other questions or comments, please leave a comment below or send me an email to trailnamemace@gmail.com. Please don't forget to click like and click that subscribe button, and if you click that little bell, YouTube will let you know when I've released a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Be sure to visit trailnamemace.com to find links to products I've reviewed. Thanks for watching, and keep hiking!